Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Bathtub Day, Tony. How you celebrate?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, Bubble Bath and Rose Petals, and you can watch it all tonight on my OnlyFans account.
I think I'm gonna pass on the OnlyFans. I think I'm gonna just, go away from that. Look at you getting technologically savvy in your old age.
Well, I can get tips. If people like me, they can send me money. It's a good second income for me. I'm happy about that. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, COVID chaos in the NFL, Ron Rivera benches Dwayne Haskins, and Aaron Boone makes a questionable pitching change. But we begin today with the Lakers taking what feels like an insurmountable lead in the finals against Miami. Hours before last night's game tipped, LeBron James texted his teammates, quote, "must win," unquote. And in a good, close game, the Lakers did. LeBron was outstanding in the second half, and Anthony Davis hounded Jimmy Butler into an ordinary second half. Wilbon, was LeBron right that this was a must-win?
Yeah, Tony, yes, he was. He doesn't want to get into some long, protracted, dramatic series where somebody can catch and shoot with 0.5 of a second left and take you out. And I alluded to this yesterday, and I want to start here again. What's underestimated about LeBron James, if anything can be underestimated as great as he is and is acknowledged to be, is his control of the game, his intellectual and physical control of the game. And our colleague, our friend, Brian Windhorst, talked to this morning, and he was talking about how LeBron, a lot of players get to the point where late in their careers, they master the game intellectually. They know everything they want to do. They are coaches. But very few of them reach that point while they're physically superior still. And I don't know how much LeBron has at this level physically, but my goodness, he controls it, Tony, and he gets his teammates to do what he thinks they need to do on a given night. He controls it. It needs to be said over and over again.
He's the best basketball player in the world, and he has been for quite some time. He's out there. He's got a dominant will. He knows how to get his teammates to exactly where they have to be, and he has an Anthony Davis, a 6'11" guy, who's willing to guard Jimmy Butler. Okay, the Lakers are going to win this thing because the other team can't win 3 in a row. I wasn't sure Miami could win any games at all, given what happened to them in terms of injuries. And they're still dealing without one starter, and Adebayo came back, and he was fine, but he wasn't great. So let me get to LeBron, as long as you bring LeBron up in that way. I have picked LeBron and the Lakers from the start. You picked the Clippers, so I'll crow a little bit. And it's not that I want to say that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. I don't want to go down that path. But I want to go down the path about why he is alongside Michael Jordan. He's got 10 finals with 3 different teams. If he wins this thing, and he's the best player on 3 different teams with 4 rings at that point and 10 finals, this is unbelievably rare air. Michael Jordan, 6 finals, 6 wins. That's not going to be beaten. Okay, that's not. But I think you would concede that LeBron James at this point, the body of work, he's got 10, like Kareem had
staggering.
10, and Russell had more than 10, and LeBron hasn't had the supporting cast that they've had. That's just my point.
And Tony, the supporting cast is another interesting thing about the Lakers and the win last night, and LeBron and Anthony Davis, we keep waiting for a third person. The third person is whoever they need him to be. It was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope last night. It might be Caruso in the next game. It's been Rondo already. And it's that way because LeBron is so locked in with study of what is coming from the other team. That game could have gone either way last night, Tone. And so LeBron was saying, I don't want it to go that way. Let's go this way. And if they had Goran Dragic healthy, and if they had Adebayo healthy, Tone, I don't know where this would be, but every team has got that, and history says right now the Lakers are going to do this. I think Miami can get one more game. I'm not saying they will. I think they can because of their tenacity, and we don't know how healthy those guys are going to be. Maybe Bam will be a little bit better on Friday night.
3 words. That's domination, Holmes. We move now to a potential coronavirus crisis in the NFL. It's not that we didn't expect this because we did. But after 2 days of no new positive tests, Tennessee now has 2 new ones. Las Vegas has a positive test. And in New England, last year's Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore, tested positive. This puts a bunch of Week 5 games in doubt. Wilbon, where does this put the NFL now?
Tony, it seems like it puts the NFL, and I want to be wrong about this. I hope it just doesn't come to this, but it looks like they're on the precipice of some, jeopardy. I don't want to go to the word disaster, but jeopardy if you have teams, and suppose they miss multiple games. Then what are we talking about here? How do you judge your season, your divisions, your playoffs, presuming everybody can get to that? And how widespread does it become? Again, we've just got questions, but they're bigger questions, Tony. They're more serious questions. And there's so many people. You looked at baseball, and baseball was able to navigate this till they got to the postseason. Now there's this sort of quasi, almost bubble situation. Football has twice the size plus of a baseball roster. So there's so many questions about who's had contact with whom, what kind of contact tracing can you do. That particularly doesn't even help the people who've already tested positive and have to be ruled out of the next game. So it's just you shaking your head and you're holding your breath if you're the NFL right now.
So let's get rid of basketball and hockey because they were in a bubble and that worked. I think the only comparison is to baseball. And when baseball was day-to-day with the Marlins and then with the Cardinals, the NFL now studies baseball as a model, and now they are week to week. And you write a bunch of protocols, you write for a best case, you write for a worst case, you have an outline, and you go with that. The NFL is going to be the last league ever to cancel because it's only 16 games, and they got 4 in already. And they only need 12 more. And you know what, Mike? They might not need 12 more. They may go to 12 or to 14. I believe everybody has to play an equal amount of games, but I don't think it has to be 16. And I know I say this a lot, but I'm going to say it again. Okay, they own America, and they own their stadiums. So if they want to kick the Super Bowl down to March or April or May, they can, and people will watch, and other leagues will get out of the way. It seems to me they are prepared for this, and I think you feel that also.
Well, Tony, the thing is, the one thing I would disagree with you on is they don't have to cut anything to 12, and they don't have to play the same number of games. But they don't have to cut because of what you said. There's no more shared stadiums. Everybody's got their own stadium now that the Raiders are out of that dump and into Vegas in their new one. So, no, you don't. They're gonna play the games. They're gonna try the best they can to play the games. But Tony, we don't know what that'll look like, and if things get pushed. And if things get pushed, that's the time we're in now. Nobody's gonna call that a tragedy. Dwayne Haskins is done for now as the starting quarterback of the Washington football team. Ron Rivera demoted last year's number 15 overall pick, not just behind new starter Kyle Allen, who he brought in from Carolina, but also behind Alex Smith, who's coming back from a compound fracture in his right leg, which required 17 surgeries, yes, 17 to fix it. Over 4 starts this season, Haskins ranks last in total QBR, 27th in completion percentage. Still, Tony, has Rivera yanked this kid too soon?
I was stunned when I heard this. I really did not expect this at all.
Me too.
He had a game against Baltimore, and he was throwing late because they're down by 5,000 points, but he was 32 of 45 for 314 without interceptions. But he also had a 4th and goal where he didn't throw anywhere near the goal. You know, I mean, like, what is his awareness on the field? I can give you a whole bunch of stats that says he's bad, and I'll do that down the road. But I think the important thing to say here is that this is what happened with Matt Nagy and Nick Foles. He coached him somewhere else. He didn't draft Trubisky. Ron Rivera had Kyle Allen. He didn't draft Dwayne Haskins. The owner drafted Dwayne Haskins because he's a local kid. I assume Rivera ran this by the owner, but it's not his guy. He wants his own guy. The division is so terrible that you may only need 6 wins to win it.
Yeah, Tony, yes, to what you said. And I noticed that, of course, being a Bears fanatic, I immediately thought of that analogy. A coach who wants to coach somebody else who's comfortable in his system, which is part of the problem of NFL coaching. You know, I talk about all the time. NFL coaching is just so awful, it seems to me, at the top, and the people don't question it because it's the NFL and they own America, to quote you. But let's go to something else.
America.
When you're a rookie, you're supposed to stink, okay? When you're a rookie, A guy named Peyton Manning went 3-13. Is he in the Hall of Fame or about to be? A guy named Troy Aikman, who I know was in the Hall of Fame, was 0-11 as a rookie. Haskins is essentially a rookie, essentially. This is like, he hasn't played 16 full yet from last season to this season. Tony, it just seems so rushed and so hastily done to bench this kid already. And just why? Because you got a guy you couldn't win with somewhere else who's comfortable with your system. It is so, I love Ron Rivera. I am predisposed to root for Ron Rivera because he was part of my favorite team of my life, the 85 Bears. But this to me seems like, what?
Well, I'm going to give you a few statistics here about Haskins, okay? He's 3-8 as a starter. He's got 11 touchdowns and 10 picks. He's been sacked 42 times. When you drop a guy to third string, Mike, and one of the guys ahead of him has one leg, I think that's the end for this kid in Washington. I think they're now in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. His completion percentage, 15 yards downfield, 22%. The league average is 48%. ESPN said he's the least valuable passer in the league. I'm stunned by it.
Let me ask you one question. One question. You said he's 3-8. Is that better percentage than 0-11 from Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer? Is that a better percentage than 3-13 from Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer?
Can I ask you a question?
No one has any patience anymore.
I'm going to ask you one question. What? Troy Aikman was #1 overall. Peyton Manning was #1 overall, right?
Yeah.
Difference.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Coming up, did Aaron Boone blow it when he yanked his starter after one inning?
I'm still not over this story in Washington. I'm not over it. How should the Padres feel about being down 1-0 and facing Clayton Kershaw tonight? I'm not over
Cal
this.
Allen
This is
pretty good for Rivera at first. I think they won 5 out of 7.
They didn't do jack overall.
I love what's the word. It makes me ecstatic in my attic. Like that? Word up. What's
Put
first?
That silly coat on. I know that.
Aaron Boone's pitching management last night was blank.
It was nefarious. He put this kid, Davy Garcia, out there as a ruse in order to get Tampa to put lefties in the lineup. Then he yanked him after one inning and he went with Happ because Happ is a lefty. All right? And it didn't work. It didn't work on either end because Garcia gave up a homer in one inning and needed 27 pitches to get out. And Happ gave up 2 homers, 4 earned in less than 3 innings. And still, Mike, the Yankees got 2 homers from Stanton again. So that's 5 in 4 games. They got 5 runs. You should be able to win a playoff game with 5 runs. But Tampa, all season long now, 9-3 against the Yankees. That's a big number.
Well, Tony, if you picked a team, if they picked a team they could play, they wouldn't be scared, even though a lot of other people would be, and they'd want to play the Yankees. My word is, hyphenated, a little too cute. And by the way, I like Boone. I think what he does with the Yankees, I find myself when I watch the Yankees just nodding in agreement with some of the moves he makes. A little too cute because I understand what he's trying to do for a team that loves to platoon. You're trying to get the advantage in matchups, and that's what baseball's all about, Tony, particularly in this era of decision-making. But a little, because it didn't work. If it didn't work,
the proof is
we'd
in
be
the
praising
pudding.
him.
Didn't
They
work.
didn't hit those home
Didn't
runs.
work.
That's right.
Next.
The Padres should feel blank heading into tonight's Game 2.
They should feel uneasy, and they should feel uneasy for a bunch of reasons. And the first reason is the Dodgers are better. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball right now. The second reason is the Clevenger thing didn't seem to work. He went 1 inning. He walked 3 people. Don't know what's going to happen to him down the road. And they get Kershaw tonight. Now, Kershaw's been bad in the playoffs, but not these playoffs so far, Mike.
Not the last
In his one game, no. 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 13 Ks, 1 walk.
Yeah.
That's dominating. The Padres last night, they went 3 for 30. I mean, you can't win that way, I think. And they lost. Their manager went nuts. So I think uneasy is the right word.
Tony, I'm going to go even further and say overwhelmed. They should feel overwhelmed. Just the Kershaw performance alone coming off of that, it seems that those shaky playoff games for him are a long, long, long time ago based on the most recent start. But the Padres should feel overwhelmed, but they're not, Tony. They're going to be oblivious. This is, I think, part of their success this season. They're young, they're brash. You know, coaches, I know you knew basketball coaches in particular who would say, you can't fool him because he's not paying attention. And that was used to actually compliment a young, brash player. That's the case with the whole team of Padres. It might work for him, Tone. It might. Otherwise, they're going to be overwhelmed.
Dodgers are good. That's it. Mike's words for the Birds. Let's take one last break, but still to come, the Jets make a change at quarterback.
Another change at quarterback.
And
we have more information on J.J. Watt's issues with Bill O'Brien, and he had some issues.
Sam Darnold's injured, but the votes are in on Sam Darnold. All precincts have reported. That's not working.
I don't know about
That's
that.
Not working
That whole
Interruption is presented by Samuel Adams from Boston with Love. Savor the flavor responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 28th birthday, Mookie Betts. The big deal last offseason was the Red Sox sending Betts to the Dodgers before his free agency. Betts is now the richest player in baseball, having signed an extension with the Dodgers in July that will pay him $392 million over 13 years. Betts already won a World Series and an MVP with the Red Sox, not to mention a batting title and 4 Gold Gloves. His parents purposefully named him Marcus Lynn Betts, MLB. But he's not just a great baseball player. He was the Tennessee Boys Bowler of the Year in 2010 while in high school with a high game of 290. And he's bowled 3 sanctioned 300 games, including 1 in the World Series of Bowling. Betts was also the Class 3A Basketball Player of the Year at Overton High School in the Nashville area. And get a load of this. Mookie Betts is a distant cousin of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, if she's still keeping that title.
I don't know. I have no idea who that is. But let me just say this. I once challenged a professional bowler on this show, and I went on the road. How did I do with that, Tony?
It's great. We're so happy for you. Meghan Markle, Northwestern Zone. That's the Duchess.
So,
not
say
so happy
Meghan Markle, but I
anniversary,
may have to challenge
Cumberland University.
Mookie.
History lesson, kids. On this day 104 years ago, Georgia Tech blew the doors off the Tennessee school in a bitter revenge game. As the story goes, the year before, Cumberland beat Georgia Tech in baseball 22-0. But allegations surfaced that Cumberland hired professionals to stand in as amateurs.
Ringers.
Tech coach John Heisman,
Ringers.
yes, that Heisman, vowed revenge. So when the teams met in football, Tech handed Cumberland the most one-sided beating in football history. 222-0. That's right, 222 love. Neither team had a first down. Cumberland because they were so bad, and Tech because they scored on just about every snap. Georgia Tech had 18 offensive touchdowns and 14 defensive and special team touchdowns. They ran for 978 yards, never even attempted a pass because Newton Rockne hadn't popularized the pass yet. The score at the half was 126-0. Amazingly, Georgia Tech got to 222 even though the game was shortened by 10 minutes. I know what you're thinking, Wilbon. Northwestern should schedule Cumberland for homecoming.
Nah, you don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this game never happened. I know Grantland Rice supposedly wrote about this game. He wrote about it, but was he there? Why would Grantland Rice have been at a game between Georgia Tech and Cumberland College? I'm not buying it. I want something else. I want somebody holding a ball that says 222, like Wilt once held that sign that said 100. Give me some physical, I need some evidence. Evidence.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
History denying Michael Wilbon. Happy trails to the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces were beaten last night 92-59 and swept from the WNBA Finals by the Seattle Storm. That 33-point margin is the largest in WNBA Finals history. Breanna Stewart, who scored 26 points, unanimously named Finals MVP. This is her second WNBA title and second Finals MVP, 2018 and 2020. The only reason she didn't get it in 2019 is she missed the entire year with an Achilles injury. Stewart also won 4 NCAA championships at UConn and won an Olympic gold medal in 2016. And if you think that's a lot of hardware, how about her teammate Sue Bird? This was her 4th WNBA title. She had 2 at UConn. She's got 4 Olympic gold medals. Like Stewart, Bird was the #1 pick in the WNBA, but in Bird's case, it was in 2002. She will be 40 next week. In Game 1 of these finals, she set a finals record with 16 assists, and her team shot 73% off Bird's passes.
Tony, I realize Stewie is the best player now, But Sue Bird, for just some context, she's also world historic context. In the Russian league, she's got 5 titles. EuroLeague championships as well, 5 of those, and 4 FIBA World Cups. I mean, she's one of the greats of all time ever.
One omission, the Braves beat the Marlins this afternoon 2-0. Atlanta now up 2-0 in their best of 5, and we go to the big finish. Bill O'Brien reportedly got into a heated argument with J.J. Watt on the practice field 2 weeks ago. Your thoughts?
Let's see if J.J. Watt catches any heat from all the people who used to scream about NBA players getting guys fired. J.J. Watt had some power in this. Let's see where people line up on it. Adam Gase says Sam Darnold's shoulder is, quote, in a lot of pain, close quote. So the JETS will start Joe Flacco. What do you expect?
Well, he's won a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl? Let me know if he does. Quentin Byfield went second in the NHL draft, the Los Angeles Kings. Is that a good fit?
If he's great, I mean, they haven't won a playoff series since they won the Stanley Cup in 2014 and missed the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, Tone. I hope he is. I'm rooting for him. North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance going to skip spring season, focus on the draft. Does that make sense?
Yes. Last one. LSU's game with Mizzou will move to Missouri to avoid Hurricane Delta. Your thoughts?
You have to avoid these things, Tone. The Saints could be moved and Chargers could be moved as far as Indianapolis to avoid the storm.
Out of time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get us on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast.